Ever felt overwhelmed by your finances? Let me share a secret from our friends at Liquid Loans, the proud sponsors of the Zone 5 podcast. They've created a platform that turns financial chaos into clarity. Secure, quick, and simple Liquid Loans is all about unlocking your financial freedom. Want to know more? Dive into their website and discover how you can achieve financial peace of mind. Your journey to freedom starts now. liquidloans.io. The show is always presented by liquidloans.io. Hey guys, welcome to the Zone 5 Pulsechain Podcast. Today, we are going to be interviewing the great Maddie. I'm not sure, is it Allen or Allen? Well, how are we supposed to pronounce that?
Either one is fine.
Either way. Okay, we like that. I want to make sure I wasn't butchering it the way I used to say erythrium instead of Ethereum.
My friend used to call it erythrium, so it's okay.
I was kidding, Corey. I was not that dumb.
Oh, because my friend actually called it erythrium.
Erythrium.
Oh, I'm not. So.
I got to do a beat with a big YouTuber back then who that's the way he used to say it. But anyways, I digress. Joined today, as always, with the lovely, the most elite, most exclusive of all duchesses, the Duchess of DeFi, Cassie Wolf, ladies and gentlemen. She is channeling Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat today.
I am.
We are joined, as always, by our resident Chain and Hex expert, Corey Costa. And I'll tell you guys, he don't cost a lot. He's cheap help when you can get him. Then we've got Maddie Allen. Nobody knows what to call him, but he's an expert. He told us he's got all the alpha. And I'll tell you, we're going to give it to you until the omega today. So Maddie, welcome to the show. As always, we got to always start with tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do in the Hex community and Pulsechain community.
So I'm a self-proclaimed crypto psychologist. I've been in crypto for 8 years. I really want to understand how people are using crypto beyond just like number go up. I'm the last person to have live streamed with Richard Hart. And I've been doing the Hex and Pulsechain conferences since the beginning, just as a decentralized thing. I don't work for Richard or anything. I just work for the community as an organizer.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that really how I came to find out about you when I went out to the Pulsechain tour is I had been calling that the Pulsechain conference, and I was told that was not allowed because there is a Pulsechain conference, and I don't know the guy that puts it on, but he's serious about that thing.
That's right. Yeah. Well, there's so many great things that this community has to offer.
Yeah.
The tour that's going around the country, teaching people about real crypto, teaching people about Hex and Pulsechain is outstanding. I support them fully. My part is I do online conferences for the Hex conference in January. We had 100 speakers.
Wow.
And we set the world record for the most YouTubers live on one screen at a single time. We had 240 people live together.
That's amazing. How come nobody talks about that?
It was fun.
Wow.
It was really fun. Yeah.
Well, did Guinness, was Guinness there? Did they come sign it off? World record?
Well, so they're a middleman that likes to charge $10,000 if you want to like have them verify, on the spot or whatever. So we're just going to let AI take care of like who has the world record for the most YouTubers live. Like the evidence is online.
Oh man, that is
Love it.
really, I love that. That is really cool. I tell you, the thing is, there's always people out there looking for, money-making opportunities. And I think that I just found another one, which is my new coin called Guinness on Pulsechain. This is where we're going to tokenize world records, and you can own a piece of a record that you actually didn't set.
Yeah.
All right. And also, guys, this token is for sale and pre-sale, 5 cents per token. If you guys want to send me some, yeah, I'm kidding. That's not really true. But that's really cool. So I had been on one that had like 9 people one time, but that was a big deal. But 240, man, that's a lot of folks on the screen at one time. But I think that what you're doing with the online conference and the 100 speakers, I think that's really cool. I think it's one of the reasons why we want to do this podcast, because we want to bring exposure to a lot of the people that are in the ecosystem that have stuff to add and have value and things like that.
Yeah, there's something, it's very specific to the Pulsechain community. All the support is very genuine. It literally never seen it anywhere else, especially considering all, there's even with Bencoin, I received so many messages from people saying, "Hey, Bencoin on Pulse," and I was just kind of like, "Oh, you guys, I'm trying to deal with Ethereum over here." Maybe it would have been good to switch over to Pulsechain back then. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing you guys have going on here, and I love everything about it. I just want to know more about the coin itself. So if you could explain the tokenomics, that would be amazing.
Pulsechain or Hex? Pulsechain, right? We're talking about Pulsechain podcast. We gotta be clear because he's wearing a Hex hat. But Cassie's had some questions about some of this stuff, and she would like to know more about what's going on with tokenomics because we had a hard time finding like what to supply and different stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
There
Well,
he is.
and it doesn't help that the centralized exchanges have pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
The tokenomics of Pulsechain are, surrounding being a layer 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you can leave it right there. That's simple enough for some people is to understand that Ethereum has value because people are buying it and not selling it. People are using it as gas to have a decentralized world computer. If you think about like what are the greatest blockchain inventions of all time, you have Bitcoin, which was it's a store of value. You have Ethereum. Basically, Bitcoin solved the double spend problem.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum allowed you to have smart contracts.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Hex allowed you to time lock and pay your future self. Pulsechain is a better version of Ethereum.
I like that explanation.
Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously with, you said you got all the alpha. Yeah, I was told that this guy has the alpha. So with what's going on, right? We've seen the evolution today, actually, the day we're recording this. There's a lot going on with the hearing stuff with Richard Hart and Pulsechain. But I want to know for right now, what's going on in Pulsechain that's cutting edge, that's the alpha? Like, where can people be looking to actually find somewhere in this ecosystem right now that outside of just investing in Pulse where you might make some money?
I think that privacy is going to be something that a lot of people didn't expect to come to Pulsechain. Richard has publicly hinted at it. And so why does that matter? Why does that matter to anybody? Well, there's a lot of money in crypto right now controlled by billionaires, controlled by whales. And they can't just put all the money into their bank account. There's too many middlemen in the way. And people, I believe, have a right to financial privacy and freedom. And so if Pulsechain can bring that to the world and you only get 1 or 2 guys from Ethereum, how did Hex do a 10,000x where nobody wanted to buy it when Richard was live streaming? I remember when he was live streaming and Hex was sub Satoshi. It was like one Hex was less than 1 Satoshi back, a couple months after it launched, and people didn't want to buy it when it was so cheap. But, then it did a 10,000x. It did that because there were like 2 Ethereum Genesis whales on chain. They bought Ethereum for 30 cents. They sold it for $4,000 per coin, and they went all in Hex. And so if you can convince just 1 or 2 of these crypto billionaires that what you have on Pulsechain is better than anywhere else, whether it's privacy, whether it's something else that they like on there, maybe they like, making their own coin. Maybe they like, how Pulsechain and Richard are fighting for your rights when it comes to the SEC. Like maybe they have no reason at all. Maybe they just like fat fingered a button and now Pulsechain did a 10,000x.
Right.
Yeah. And do we believe the Pulsechain is going to 10,000x in this cycle? Is this something that people believe? Because everybody knows, right? Like that's the way people that have been in this community know that's kind of the mantra, right? The Richard Hart coins, the RH coins, they're built to 10,000x. Well, Pulsechain's been out for a year now, and I don't know where the price is comparatively to where it was. I assume it's a little bit higher, but I know it hasn't ripped or anything. What are we thinking for the prospects of this bull run with Pulsechain, especially now we don't have, it looks like he's pushed everybody away from Hex Ethereum or Hex on Ethereum, right? So it's pushing more money to the Pulsechain side of the ecosystem. What are your thoughts? Thank you to Liquid Loans, the sponsor of the Zone 5 podcast. With Liquid Loans, you never have to sell your Pulse. #never selling. With liquidloans.io, never selling is more than just a meme. It's actually kind of possible. So if you've ever wanted to have your Lambo and drive it too, then start your zero interest-free loan journey today. Liquidloans.io.
I mean, if the entire crowd is thinking it's going to 10,000x, then you're not ready to 10,000x yet. People have to literally not want it at all in order to get that. For me, I see a 10x or 100x happening. As long as Bitcoin and Ethereum keep doing their thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the joke is you don't get out of bed for less than a 10x, but we'll see.
Yeah, that is true in crypto for sure. But they don't come as free flying as they used to. But I think in the next 6 months, I think we're going to see a lot more of that stuff. Corey, you want to chime in on anything we've been talking about? I know you always got a lot of thoughts and a lot to say, and I'm always trying to stop Corey from saying it. Okay, Corey, you can say it.
No. I tend to be. I tend to absolutely agree. I think one of the biggest unfortunate things that has happened in the community is that there was an over expectation of price appreciation to happen so quickly, so rapidly in this community, where there was a major amount of streamers and community members who presumed that Pulsechain and Pulsex, the premier DEX on Pulsechain with the Pulsex token, and PHEX were all going to rip and do the same amount of price appreciation as not regular, but EHEX did in its first cycle. And I've had this conversation with people that instead of it being a one token cryptocurrency community now, Hex and Pulsechain now is a multifaceted layer one community now, where people have money in meme coins, or they have money they're buying NFTs, or they're buying different projects that are launching on Pulsechain that have to do with possibly DeFi. So there's a lot of spread out money where the economic mass is not in totality of one token. So I obviously am somebody who has been in the RH ecosystem now for almost 2.5 years. I believe Pulsechain, Pulsex, and PHEX, and I'm not even going to forget INC, the incentive token, will do well. But am I a 10,000xer? No. I've been people generally ridicule me for my conservative outlooks on price appreciation moving forward, because we are a maturing asset class. It's true. You said it very well, Ben. I remember in 2017 where you'd see coins ripping to 100x left and right, and now it's common, but it's not as common as it used to be. So I tend to agree with Maddie's sentiment that we're not. I don't think we're going to see a 10,000x. I have said publicly that I think that Pulsechain this cycle, if all the stars, and again, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor by any means. This is just my opinion. If the RH SEC case comes out in our favor, and the SAC address does put money into Pulsechain and Pulsechain, we're just talking Pulsechain specifically, I can see Pulsechain doing, if all the stars align, a 15 to 20x from SAC rate. I think that's a plausible, if we have a blow off top, a plausible conclusion. I know a lot of people would disagree with me and be kind of angry at me, but I've always played the conservative game in crypto. Has it been advantageous for me? It has been sometimes. So yeah.
Except for when it hasn't.
There you go. Now we're talking.
I have a lot of appreciation for the conservative outlook when it comes to crypto. It's much easier to sell closer to the top.
Thank you. I try my best to just keep it conservative, because I was in 2017. I was in crypto 2017, and I also, like Coffee said in the last discussion, that I watched my portfolio go up substantially and then crash back down 90%, because I was under the impression that the coins that I was in, that I was invested in, were going to perform in ways that I didn't realize that wasn't as realistic as I thought it was going to be. So I play the more I gotta stay level headed, because when euphoria hits, as we all know, euphoria is that's the scariest part of crypto. I don't think bear markets are the scariest part. I think euphoria is because there's very little rationality that goes on between whether or not one should take profits. Is it going to go higher? am I gonna FOMO exit, or am I gonna FOMO stay in?
Mhm.
A lot of variables in a euphoric part of the cycle.
Most people don't have an exit strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it's like, oh, I'm gonna DCA, I'm gonna buy this, but there's no plan to sell, or what do you do?
I gotta say, I agree with Corey 100%. The part of the cycle that is the very scariest is when you're rich and you have all the money. Corey, I totally disagree with that. Actually, take me right to that. I will transport there right now. Please take me to this hellhole that you have portrayed, where I've got so much money coming out of my anus that I don't even know how to exit it. Oh my God. Golly, guys. Sorry, that's a Puff Daddy reference. Probably shouldn't be making that.
He's been times on some of these trades he's made. I'll tell you what.
I tell you, I'm in a big one right now, and I don't even know where it's at. I don't even know. I'm in a big Dogecoin long, and I keep looking at the price, and every time I look at it, guys, I tell you, and when I am thinking about money, when I am thinking about cashing out crypto at the top and taking profits, I'm doing it through liquidloans.io. They are our main title sponsor for the Zone 5 Pulsechain Podcast. And let me tell you, if you guys have ever thought to yourself, I want to go buy something nice, but I want to keep my crypto too, it's really easy. 0 interest and interest-free loans. You can take loans on your crypto and you don't have to cash it out. And then you can pay it back, but don't get in trouble with these loans. You guys can visit liquidloans.io. I know Corey is a big fan of Liquid Loans as well.
I am. I streamed with Liquid Loans very early on. For those who may not be aware, again, I'm not paid to say any of this. I'm just very friendly with people at Liquid Loans. They had the largest sacrifice, obviously, outside of the RH tokens, Pulsechain and Pulsex. And they do have, outside the RH tokens on Liquid Loans, they have the largest TVL of all protocols on Pulsechain as of right now. So that plays a vital role in the longevity of Pulsechain when you see that TVL constantly flowing, because it shows that there's activity on the chain and it's not a ghost chain. So I got to give Liquid Loans that credit.
Absolutely. You got to give it to them. And I think it's absolutely a great product. And man, I had a really good joke I was going to say here about Corey. What did Corey say? Corey said something really funny here.
I want to know about this alpha that
hold on.
Maddie's sitting
We're gonna
there
get there. We're gonna get there. Hold on.
Then got the dad joke on deck. What do we got here?
I remember. And guys, I just want to say thank you again to Liquid Loans. And we had a first on the podcast here. This is actually a first. I don't know. This is not only a first on this podcast. It's maybe the first on any podcast that's ever happened in history. We just had a co-host of the podcast that's sponsored by Liquid Loans name drop Liquid Loans. Like he flexed, he knew him, and they were on the show. They're the sponsor of our show, Corey. It's amazing. You guys see that? Corey flexed. He name dropped Liquid Loans, our show sponsor, on our podcast.
They are really cool guys.
Well, I guess they're cool enough to do it. Amazing. Good job, Corey.
Well,
I love you.
I don't want to one up Corey or anything, but Liquid Loans did sponsor one day of the Hex conference, and I am a user of Liquid Loans.
There you go.
Look at this.
I don't mind one up, but do it.
Part of this podcast is teaching us about all this stuff. And look, when we first started looking at sponsors, we had several good ones we were looking at, by the way, not just Liquid Loans, but Liquid Loans stood out as everybody we talked to. They're like, hey, they're the tops. They're the people that are out here doing it. And then everybody we've had on the podcast, we mentioned it too. They know this company, they like it. So we're happy to do it. And that's what we really want to make sure. We don't want to go to talking about sponsors too much. But the whole thing is we want to make sure we did this podcast that if we were going to do a sponsor, what a sponsor from the regular channel, it's sponsored by somebody from the community, because it's about showcasing what Pulsechain can do. And I think Liquid Loans looks really slick. I think we should probably use it. We should probably use it ourselves, give it a shot. That way we can talk about it from a user perspective.
One of the reasons why Liquid Loans is so important to the Pulsechain ecosystem is they provide a stable coin that is not held in a bank, but it's backed by over-collateralized Pulse. And that's the chain's base layer. And there's this, audited series of smart contracts that works on Ethereum, and it has been living in the wild. And basically what this means is, you have a crypto that is able to be backed by something during bull and bear markets that isn't relying on a middleman in a bank that could tell you yes or no. We saw USDC depegged over a weekend once in the past year. Like, what's up with that? You know, so having liquid loans as a system for people to cash out without selling because they're taking a loan, that might have advantages for certain people's taxes. But also it benefits the entire ecosystem of Pulsechain because it helps give it value.
Yeah. Well, speaking of value, thank you to Liquid Loans, but we also, there's value in the alpha, and the alpha, alpha is one of those words, right? Back in the day, it used to go with like a hyphen in the word bits, and it was cereal, alphabet cereal. I enjoyed that a lot. It was a great cereal when I was a kid. It's actually, it's actually how I learned how to read, believe it or not. Yeah, put those little letters. It's amazing. God, you know how many times I flipped over that X trying to figure out what was the right side? I couldn't figure it out. But anyways, the point is that now the alpha is, it's about making money, not about selling cereal. So tell us, what is going on with that Pulsechain alpha? I know I've got the Degen Diva over here. Spit it hard. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I mean, there are really exciting things happening on Pulsechain, whether it's the 200 projects that are being created, whether it's Richard Hart fighting the corrupt SEC. Now, yesterday, Uniswap got dragged into the mix in a new way. You know, the founder had a tweet that saw 3 million views. And so this thing is just heating up. Uniswap, they're going to be relying on the precedent set by the Hex case. All the legal dominoes are starting to fall, and it's going to decide whether crypto remains free and decentralized or whether it gets the whole regulatory capture of, I don't know, Circle doing a possible IPO and like, you know, being in bed with all these bankers and bug eaters and that sort of thing.
There's a lot of people in beds with each other up there.
Did you say bug eaters?
Yeah, like the corrupt
that.
middlemen bankers. Yeah.
Why do we call them bug eaters? Is that like a carpetbagger?
They don't want people to eat meat because it's bad for the environment, because they want everybody to be poor and not own anything.
Yeah, I forgot who was trying to show. I forgot what actor was trying to showcase like bug protein. I forgot who it was. I don't want to say the name because I'm not 100% sure. But there was someone who's trying to showcase bug protein, and I'm like, nah, I'll stick with my lactose-free whey. Thank you very much.
Well, I tell you, my first thought was shock and outrage and disgust. My second thought was, man, I sure would eat a cockroach before I'd eat an onion. So there we go.
Jeez.
I mean, you've chased down court cases and SBF and stuff. I think it was just today that the Hex community decided that a bunch of us in Pulsechain and Hex are going to go to the court date on October 24th in New York City. We're going to do a massive meetup to support Richard's lawyers and free speech.
Yeah, and I think that we decided we're going to.
I'll be there, and I will show everyone the best halal spots.
I think it's also on Ben's birthday.
No, it's not on my birthday. It's 3 days for my birthday.
Oh, 3 days before.
No, so we'll be up there in New York City.
What a birthday present. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Then this time I'll take you out to dinner.
Oh,
fantastic.
Sweet. Hey, it's our second date, so you might get a kiss.
There you go. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that second date, I tell you what.
Here's so yeah, like you know, I can hit a couple more points of alpha if you want.
Absolutely.
Like one thing I study as a crypto psychologist is like, how the hell is the Hex community still together? How is it that we have the highest engagement out of any crypto, even if the price is down 99%? Like, there's a lot of answers to this question, but one of the answers is that people time locked, and now you have like a decentralized marketing agency that's been created. All these people did 15-year stakes in like crypto euphoria, and now people are going to get to help spread the word of Hex, help spread the idea of paying your future self. You know, it's not really a minor point that Ethereum, they were hostile to Hex in the beginning. They raised the gas fee for the S-load function and made Hex like unusable basically in a bull market. creating high fees to be able to withdraw your hex from a time lock. Basically, people were paying thousands of dollars to just run one computation in hex, whereas you could do a swap for $100. And so what Pulsechain has done is it has really like fixed a major problem for hex, but now it's also created this community of people that are stuck together for 15 years, for better or worse. And now we get to go out and do everything right. Whereas, all these other crypto billionaires that were in Bitcoin, they like forked into different groups. Roger Ver just wrote like a giant book about how Bitcoin got hijacked. You don't see a lot of crypto billionaires or millionaires like standing up, going on YouTube streams, setting the world record for most YouTubers live, but like our community is different. So I think that really matters in crypto, is how long people are going to be around.
I have to agree with that, and I will say this. I've said this in the community before, that so many people stake their hex. I've had experiences with not hex with different cryptocurrencies in the past where I've locked up. So I've chose not to, but however, I will say that the time locking of hex has truly, and to piggyback on what Maddie said, has truly created a model where this community has a sense of longevity. And it's amazing to me because when I look at the engagement on Twitter, for example, of people like myself, people like Maddie, people like Katie, even like Nuclear Herbs, and like what he just posted 2 hours ago, like what he posted like 2.5, 3 hours ago, about what has been going on. Yeah. He literally has 1.1K views on his and 1.1K likes and 56K views in the matter of 4.5, 5 hours. Like, and he has he has a sizable following. He has almost 6K followers, but like you don't see that type of engagement on 10K followers, 20K followers, 5K followers. You see that type of engagement with people with 100K followers, 200K followers. When you see someone like me or Nuclear Herbs or Maddie or Katie or Hexo or Coffee that are making a tweet that has to do with Hex and Pulsechain, and it gets 400 to 1,200 likes, and it's being seen in impressions are 10 to 15K or 20K, it says something about the capability of, like you said, Maddie, a decentralized marketing agency. So I made a tweet a couple of days ago that said like and support if you believe like and support if you believe in Richard Hart. And it got 1.1K likes, 473 retweets, and 17K impressions. Like that type of engagement I have in the 7 years I've been in cryptocurrency, I have never seen. And I've been in a lot of crypto communities. I have never seen that type of engagement before.
Well, have you ever gone to somebody's house and knocked on their door and live streamed yelling, screaming things, and then got arrested live?
Oh no! You are a notable exception, my friend.
People are looking for ways to increase their engagement. I'm just saying.
It's amazing that the community has that level of like baseline support for everyone.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing baseline, I must say, and like
turning it serious, Cassie.
That's why like it's an amazing baseline to see that this community, like Maddie said, like Hex went lower in valuation than Luna, but the community is still very, very strong, and there are people still building on Pulsechain, and there are people here, though sometimes it's drama in every layer one, face it. But the fact that this community has stayed together, it says something about the power of Hex staking. Though I don't stake myself, I can see the value proposition for a community with a mutual bond through time. I can see that, obviously.
So I made a protocol that like is practically free, and what it does is it allows you to time like any token on Ethereum or on Pulsechain. You could drip it back to yourself over any time frame. And so this is a way to like solve the problem of people sucking at DCAing out of something. You can just basically set it and then collect every week your paycheck for however long you set of your own funds. So if you have something like me, I had Hex and I bought $100 or $1,000 of it in the beginning, and then I got a 10 or I got a 2000x. Like I didn't see the 10,000x because I didn't time the market perfectly, but like I would have never gotten above 100x if I wasn't time locked. And so there's this like flip side of the equation where, yeah, a lot of people don't want to be time locked in something that sucked, but if you were time locked in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Hex or any of these things that have gone up so much, basically you could have done really well. And you could have become part of the decentralized marketing engine. So like, yeah, you could have Bencoin on Ethereum or on Pulsechain. People could time lock it, even if they just wanted to stop themselves from being like compulsive gamblers or something. And so that's kind of an interesting experiment that's playing out now.
Wow, why would someone want to stop themselves from being an impulsive gambler? I don't understand. Seems like it's you're getting what you want, right? Like you're wanting to risk a lot. You're just doing it. Sounds fun. I like it. Are you looking to use your crypto for a large purchase, like a home or a car? Well, you might want to consider Liquid Loans. It's the first truly decentralized lending protocol built specifically for Pulsechain. Get 0% interest-free DeFi liquidity for all of your needs right now. To learn more about liquidloans.io, the sponsor of the Zone 5 podcast, visit liquidloans.io. I mean,
have you guys covered Hart's Law yet?
Hart's Law.
No.
This is going to be really important, I think. But we don't know for sure. It's just basically, written in the tea leaves. So Hart's Law is basically describing why is it that all the cryptos go up and down together? Like if Bitcoin is going up or down, like all the alts are going with it. And the magnitude that happens is, it's based on the amount of liquidity that's between these two things. And liquidity, that's like a really special case in crypto. Remember, that's in the top 3 inventions out of anything is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Uniswap. Uniswap allows you to have a decentralized exchange, which removes middlemen. And it's like a super important ingredient to like having a true crypto. And so these decentralized exchanges, they don't need to be told what the price is from an order book because the ratio of the two coins in the smart contract is the price.
Yeah.
Right.
And so what Hart's Law says is that it is because of the interchangeability or the liquidity of two assets that causes the price to go up or down. And then you can make all these extrapolations from that. And I believe that the Pulsechain ecosystem has been set up perfectly to teach the world a lesson about Hart's Law. I believe that the design for years, the private and public discussions, that have been had about how to design Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX, and incentive token. I believe that all these things, if you understand liquidity and you understand the buy and burn tokenomics and the usefulness of a Pulsechain, if it solves the privacy problem or the low fees problem or any problem really, that you could see things that you didn't think were possible in terms of price appreciation.
Actually, that's a really good point because what is Pulsechain at right now, price wise?
What is it? Right at SAC rate right now? A little bit below. Last time I checked, a little bit below SAC rate, which is 0.0001.
It's about 10,000 coins per dollar.
Yeah.
Okay.
10,000 coins per dollar.
Well, and we want to do a we just started. Well, we just came up with this idea, and we actually did it for Cardano last week. We want to bring someone from the Pulsechain community on for members only stream, and we'll use those clips during the live stream as well. But to kind of just do like a walkthrough on how to buy Pulse, because that's
and how to navigate the ecosystem too in general.
Yeah.
Who you are though? It's like Ethereum.
I think that'll be really valuable for people, especially before the price like takes off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it is. I agree, because I'm gonna be honest. Like, if you're not tech savvy or DeFi savvy, and especially when we have this sentiment in crypto, don't click on links.
Yes.
Because God forbid you get your wallet drained. Like, in order to really get onto Pulsechain, you need to click. Well, majorly, you need to click on the IPFS link, or you can choose to download the software yourself. But many people choose to use the IPFS link. So it would be very valuable for people to see, what IPFS link is this? What does this mean? What version is this? How do I know that the Pulsechain Bridge IPFS link is up to date? Where do I check this? Same thing.
That sounds really complicated.
Yeah,
Man, I was just
exactly. Yeah,
sounds really.
What I say normally, what I say to people is like, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin for 10 cents, you had to send a money order to Japan.
Yeah,
and like, so it wasn't so easy. When I bought one Ethereum for $10, actually it was $12. I had to pay Coinbase an $8 fee. Like,
oh my God.
It was early days. So yeah, I mean, like, there's a relationship between the price of something and like how early you are and how difficult it is to acquire. Pulsechain is still pretty difficult to acquire, but really anybody who uses MetaMask or something similar, anybody who uses self-custody can do it.
Well, and on that note, specifically about, the difficulty in acquiring it. So we recently partnered with BTM machines, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're going to have XRP eventually. And now they offer Bitcoin on those. And
nice.
I was talking with the founder, and once this case gets resolved with Richard, we're going to have some discussions about making Pulse available.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we're excited. We're working on stuff for adoption, and we think that this is a big, robust ecosystem, and we're excited to see what happens with it. So, Maddie, who knows? You may be the person. Maybe we can bring you on to check out some of the Pulse ecosystem one day. We got a lot of Pulsechain people we've been talking to, a lot of people that would fit that description, as people would be an expert there. But I'd love to have you on again in the future. Thanks for the alpha. It was received. So
absolutely.
Matt, if you could real quick, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that I'll be able to count you in for the Pulsechain conference that's coming up May 10th through 13th. And you can find me at Matty, MATI, all in on everything.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I'll definitely speak. You can count me in for that. I love the Pulsechain
Awesome.
Next people. So absolutely. I don't know. Maybe you'd have the Duchess speak. I don't know. Maybe the Duchess could speak too.
That would be great.
We'll be on a panel together.
Yeah, or she could just stand there and look pretty. Actually, she's very smart. She's very good at crypto. So you would want her to do more than just stand there and look pretty, but she would also do that too.
As I learn more about Pulsechain, I'll be talking a lot more. I have opinions on everything, but I have held off on doing too much research on Pulsechain independently because I wanted to talk to the community first.
So guys,
sounds great. Thank you.
Make sure follow Maddie. Make sure to follow Corey. Just be careful if he turns down a back alley. Be careful. You never know where you're going when you're following Corey. But if you guys, for the Duchess and me, the BitBoy, the podcast is over. BitBoy out. Okay, guys, podcast is over. That's enough for today. Sponsored by liquidloans.io. Appreciate all the support from our sponsor. BitBoy out. Hey guys, you like this Pulsechain content? I've got some bonus Pulsechain content for you guys Monday night. We're going to be doing a full review on the exchange 9inch, along with Hexy Bastard from the Hex and Pulsechain community. And you're definitely going to want to come watch this video Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the reason is because we're going to be talking about, I may be launching my own Pulsechain meme coin. So come back Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.